And now I want to talk about the actual project. And I want to ask Henry to start. As I was saying, we met NASFAM, which is the National Smallholder Farmers Association of Malawi, at the SECC 5 years ago, I think it was. And this is an amazing organisation which works across Malawi, particularly also with Henry's group as one of the groups, and it's their capacity and their sort of strength which makes this kind of operation possible. So I'm going to ask Henry to talk about NASFAM and what it can contribute to the development of rural farming in Malawi.
Good evening. I'm Henry, as you heard, from Malawi. I work for an organization that represents smallholder farmers. The organization is called National Smallholder Farmers Association of Malawi. This organization was founded in 1997, and it was formed with a view of helping smallholder farmers. Malawi is an agro-based economy, and over 80% of agricultural productivity in the country is from smallholder farmers sector. When we talk about smallholder farmers in Malawi, we're really talking about a resource-constrained group of farmers who largely produce crops on subsistence basis. These are people who are semi-literate or completely illiterate. These are people who own very small pieces of land. On average, a smallholder farmer in Malawi owns about 2 hectares. And that's just about 4 football pitches. These are farmers who do not have any form of mechanization. They literally do all the work, from preparing the land to grading their produce with their hands. So it's an enormous amount of work that they put in, but for a long time, their hard work has not yielded much in terms of income to improve their livelihoods because of so many problems that they've had to contend with. And it is on this basis that NASFAM as an organization was formed. To begin with, to help the smallholder farmers produce more and better quality. So my organization has a department that looks at crop production, where we have people who are professionally trained from agricultural institutions who go out to train farmers in modern or improved agricultural practices so that they are able to produce more and they are able to produce high quality that can fetch them better prices. We are aware that training farmers to produce crops in a country that is so poor, in a country where the people, the farming families, have a lot of other social problems that they are grappling with, would not be enough. My organization also implements a number of livelihood programs that target the smallholder farmer communities so that we assist them, for example, on issues of HIV/AIDS impact mitigation programs. Malawi, like most sub-Saharan African countries, is reeling from the HIV/AIDS pandemic. Therefore, we realize that for smallholder farmers to fully concentrate and to be able to do better in agriculture, we need to help them by implementing programs that will enable them to cope with the shock or the impact of this pandemic. I said earlier on at the beginning that Malawi is one of the countries where percentages of illiteracy is very high. Much as we want our members, smallholder farmers, to do farming properly, our slogan is farming as a business. In order for them to really do farming as a business, they need to have some basic literacy levels. They should have some ability to understand simple business concepts. So we also offer what we call adult literacy programs, trainings, or lessons rather, so that we give an opportunity to people who do not have the opportunity to attend basic education during their youth, so that even in their adult age, they are able to attend this basic education and therefore be able to understand certain simple business concepts that will enable them to improve their livelihoods. We are also looking at mitigating the impact of climate change. This is a global problem that is upon us, and every part of the world needs to do their bit. And Malawi, as an agro-based economy, as I said earlier on, we think that if we don't do much or enough, will be the worst to lose. And therefore, we are promoting different activities, we're implementing different programs that will help the smallholder farmer community to adapt as well as adopt new ways of farming, for example, that would help them survive under the hardship conditions as a result of climate change. So we also do that. One thing, perhaps for purposes of this meeting, that we also do is to help them to market their products. For a smallholder farmer who has a lot of difficulties to produce his crops, one last problem, or the problem that you want to help them address most, is to help them find a market for their products. I want to say that for a long time, smallholder farmers in Malawi have been exploited by what we call middlemen. These are people who have some money. They go into villages during harvest time and buy crops from smallholder producers at very, very low prices and resell to processors and get all the fat, big margins to themselves. Now, because smallholder farmers had no way out, they were really in desperate situation, would always give in, would always sell at the terms of these middlemen, and consequently, even if they've put in a lot of hard work over years, their living conditions have stagnated and they have not been able to move out of poverty. So what we do as NASFAM is to help them to work together. We know that as smallholder farmers, individually they are very vulnerable. So we group them, we mobilize them to work into clubs, and several clubs within an area have formed associations that are allocated across the country. At the moment, National Smallholder Farmers Association of Malawi has 45 different smallholder farmer associations, and these produce different types of crops. So what we do is to use the collective power of these associations so that smallholder farmers are able to bargain for better prices to the big companies that do a lot of processing of these products, so that the benefits that would otherwise go to the middlemen can directly reach these smallholder producers. At the moment, we are exporting 2 crops to Europe. One of them is groundnuts. I understand you call groundnuts peanuts. So one of them is peanuts. We are selling peanuts through Twin Trading to the UK. And as John mentioned, we are also exporting rice to Scotland. And Just Trading Scotland, the company that John represents, is the one that imports this rice into Scotland. We realize that by growing the UK market and by selling through Fairtrade, not only do we provide some kind of insurance to the producers, but more importantly is the fact that the producers are getting a fair price for their produces. A fair price that enables them to recover their cost of production and remain with something that they can use as a form of livelihood. There are so many economic problems that a smallholder producer in Malawi faces. Because to begin with, Malawi is one of the poorest countries in the world. And I think you are all aware of this fact. And therefore, these people can only be helped if by the end of the day, they are able to get a good reward for the huge and tremendous amount of work that they put in to produce their crops. So by growing our margins for the global rice that our members produce, we are really assuring them, we are really providing that insurance that come the onset of the farming season, they will know they can wholeheartedly invest everything that they have, and they are sure that by the end of the day, they will be able to recover all that and go a notch higher in terms of betterment of their well-being. So perhaps in brief, that's what my organization does, and we are very happy to realize that Scotland as a nation has attained the fair trade status. And we believe, as much as we are happy with this milestone, it is only the beginning of more things to happen that will help underprivileged farmers in other parts of the world, like Malawi, to be able to access good markets that can transform their lives, so that the world becomes a better place for everyone. For some of you who have had the opportunity to travel to Malawi, or those that follow global events closely, you realize that this noble cause, the simple thing that people do to look out for fair trade products, small as it may appear, done by an individual, every individual's effort put together is really something so helpful that will enable a poor parent in Malawi to be able to put food on the table, to be able to send their children to school, to be able to live or sleep under a roof that is made of iron sheets, because it's